Like most discoveries, this started with a question, not a particularly confusing or surprising one. What the fuck is happening in this picture? I started my search as a half joke, but evidently I found some interesting things about this picture that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people know about. I'd only seen the picture a handful of times before, but this specific investigation started when a friend of mine sent me it on Discord. It's a two-part picture of a group of kids butchering a bunch of chickens and then playing on computers. Confused and wanting context, I did some searching in order to find out, one, what is going on, and two, if I can find out where this picture was specifically taken. First things first, a reverse image search yielded nothing of much value, except for a few Reddit threads that had circumstantial guesses about the context. But this image was reposted thousands of times, so finding the original was going to be a little difficult. Ultimately, I decided that it wasn't really worth the time to try and figure out where this picture was first posted based off of reverse image searching. So we'd have to find the original ourselves. First, we started with an analysis of the picture, tried to figure out the core elements of this picture that would be useful for an in-depth search. We recognized three. Firstly, the collection of framed pictures along the back wall. While this picture is low resolution, you can still make out a few of them. Most seem to be pictures of groups of kids, some wearing uniforms, what look like orange togas or monk robes. The biggest takeaway from these pictures would be of them playing basketball, probably as part of a team, looking at their uniforms. So immediately, my mind goes to a school, or maybe Boy Scouts group, or like a church group, or something like that. It's not much, but it's a start to try and figure out, what the fuck is going on. Secondly, in this picture, there's two flags in the back corner. The first one is immediately recognizable as the flag of Ukraine, with a sort of coat of arms on it. Analyzing a history of flags in Ukraine, this coat of arms is identifiable as the sign of the princely state of Vladimir the Great. It's a coat of arms otherwise known as the trizub, Ukrainian for trident. These types of flags aren't uncommon in everyday Ukrainian households. The other one, the red and black one, was a little tougher to figure out. Turns out this flag is known as the flag of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, a nationalist paramilitary group that engaged in guerrilla warfare in World War II against the Nazis. This red and black flag also contains the trizub. A little more pop culture digging yields that it's not uncommon for this flag to be found in Ukraine. It's a piece of history and represents Ukrainian nationalism. But it's a little more than that if we dig into the history of Ukrainian nationalism. The trizub itself, as well as the flag of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, points directly towards the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, who use the trizub and this red and black flag on their emblems. In 1943 to 1945, about 100,000 Polish people were killed in what's known as the Massacre of Poles in Volhynia and eastern Galicia. The perpetrators of this attempted genocide, the Ukrainian Insurgent Army and the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists. I don't have knowledge on nationalism in Ukraine today, or how the OUN or the UPA operate today. I don't know what the flag means today, but I can only point towards the history of the organization it represents. Whoever's flying these flags obviously aligns himself with this organization, so keep that in mind as we go further down this rabbit hole. So lastly, out of the three core elements, more importantly, we have this Ukrainian on the wall. Entering the Cyrillic into a translator yields Amulet of Brody. Google search of that in English doesn't bring much up, but a search of Brody, Ukraine brings up that Brody is a town located in central Ukraine. A pretty small town too. Looking at the buildings, some of their descriptions, there's not much to go on. So I put a pin in that and moved on. For a while, this is all I had. My best guess was that it was some school in a small town, aligning themselves with the Ukrainian nationalism, and maybe they didn't have a kitchen big enough to cook whatever meal. Dead end of story. I gave up for a bit. until I realized that I was a fucking idiot. All I did next was simply Google search the original Cyrillic and finally found what I was looking for. Oberig Brody, an organization based out of Brody, Ukraine, on a website called vk.com. It's a Russian online social media site. It didn't take long to go through some of the pictures and realize what it was that I found. Pictures of the exact same room. Then, when I stumbled upon this picture, something else clicked. This album on their social media site is filled with the same pictures on the wall. Every single one on the wall is here in this album. Now here's where it gets weird. A lot of these pictures depict kids training, shooting guns. There's what looks like a live grenade in one of the pictures. Pictures with even less context than the original. Kids on fire, kids in army fatigues with assault rifles, kids hospitalized wearing dog tags. Whatever the fuck this is. Going through these, I came to my own personal and circumstantial opinion. This Oberig Brody is some consensual far-right Ukrainian nationalist training camp for young kids. And then I found a post, March 14th, 2015. The original picture in high resolution. A seemingly funny, no-context picture led me down a rabbit hole to uncover the truth. Ukrainian nationalists' indoctrination of youth. Disclaimer, I don't know shit about Ukraine, but this is undeniably unsettling, and something to think about. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. This isn't my typical video style, but I figured it was fun enough to do that I may enjoy it again. Leave a comment if you have any other cursed images that you want contextualized. And again, thanks for watching.